like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Diorpop. Sometimes, the most interesting things aren't what's obvious on the surface, but rather the small details that often get overlooked. A quick laugh, a spontaneous reaction, or the way someone is there for another without needing a lot of words. Today, we're going to discuss a dynamic that's often simplified with just one word, age. Jimin is older. Jungkook is younger. But is their relationship that simple? Because when you really pay attention, not just look, but observe, a much deeper story emerges. A story of quiet attention, loving flirtation, and emotional roles that don't always go as expected. It's not about who's older or younger. It's about how they read each other, respond to each other, and be there for each other, even without realizing it. Let's delve deeper and see how Jungkook, in his own way, often serves as the one who pampers, nurtures, and manages Jimin's emotional flow. A dynamic that's gentle, natural, and continues to leave many people speechless. Enjoy! Everyone thinks they understand Jimin and Jungkook the moment the word age comes up. Jimin is older. Jungkook is younger. And just like that, expectations are formed. People assume Jimin must be the one leading, guiding, and taking care of Jungkook. That the dynamic is fixed. That the roles are clear. But the moment you truly watch them, really pay attention, that assumption begins to quietly fall apart. Because what actually appears, again and again, is something very different. A dynamic where Jungkook, despite being younger, often pampers Jimin. Where he teases him playfully, watches him closely, and, almost without anyone noticing, takes control of the emotional atmosphere between them. From the very beginning of their public interactions, Jungkook has never behaved like someone intimidated by age hierarchy when it comes to Jimin. He moves around him comfortably, confidently, and playfully. He jokes freely. He touches him casually. He reacts without hesitation. Nothing about it feels careful or restrained. And Jimin doesn't reject that energy. He accepts it. He responds to it. Sometimes he even leans into it. What stands out most is how much Jungkook seems to enjoy drawing reactions out of Jimin, not to embarrass him, not to cross boundaries, but to make him feel. Jungkook knows exactly which jokes will make Jimin laugh, which ones will make him complain dramatically, and which ones will leave him shy and flustered. That kind of teasing only works when two people know each other deeply. And despite being the older one, Jimin often becomes visibly softer around Jungkook. His voice changes. His reactions grow more animated. He laughs more easily. He complains more openly. In those moments, he doesn't act like a hyung who needs to maintain authority. He acts like someone who feels safe enough to let his guard down. And Jungkook is very aware of that. There are countless moments where Jungkook pampers Jimin quietly, without making a show of it. He notices when Jimin is tired, when he's cold, when he's unusually quiet or overwhelmed. And instead of announcing it, Jungkook simply adjusts. He stays closer. He slows down. His tone softens. This is where the age difference almost disappears. Because caretaking isn't always about who is older. Sometimes, it's about who is more emotionally attentive in that moment. And very often, that person is Jungkook. At the same time, Jungkook loves to mess with Jimin. He pokes him. He surprises him. He throws out sudden comments that catch him off guard. Jimin reacts with mock anger, exaggerated complaints, and dramatic expressions. But if you look closely, there's always a smile hiding underneath. There's comfort in the way he reacts. He doesn't shut Jungkook down. He doesn't create distance. He stays engaged. That balance, between teasing and caring, is what makes Jungkook's behavior stand out. He knows exactly how far he can go. He knows when to stop. And when Jimin's mood shifts, Jungkook shifts with him. The teasing fades. The mischief quiets. What replaces it is calm, steady presence. In group settings, Jungkook often positions himself near Jimin without it feeling forced. He mirrors Jimin's movements. He reacts to his jokes faster than anyone else, sometimes laughing before the punchline even lands, as if he already knows what's coming. Those moments feel instinctive, not planned. Another detail fans often notice is how Jungkook supports Jimin verbally. If Jimin hesitates during an interview, Jungkook fills in gently. If Jimin downplays himself, Jungkook lifts him up casually. There's no overpraising, no dramatic declarations, just the right words at the right time. It creates a quiet emotional safety net. Jimin doesn't have to ask for it. Jungkook offers it automatically. And Jimin seems to trust that it will always be there. When it comes to physical affection, Jungkook is often the initiator, quick touches, playful grabs, sitting closer than necessary. These gestures happen naturally, and Jimin rarely pulls away. Instead, he reacts, laughs, or pretends to be annoyed while staying exactly where he is. The comfort between them is unmistakable. What makes this dynamic even more interesting is that Jungkook doesn't act this way with everyone. His teasing has a different tone when it comes to Jimin. His attention is sharper. His reactions are more immediate. It feels personal. And Jimin, in return, allows himself to be vulnerable in small but meaningful ways. He shows more emotion. He complains more freely. He expresses affection without hesitation. That kind of openness usually only appears when someone feels deeply understood. There are moments when Jungkook looks at Jimin with a level of attentiveness that feels protective, not possessive, not dramatic, just present. As if he's constantly checking in, making sure Jimin is okay. And when Jimin catches him looking, Jungkook doesn't hide it. He smiles. He turns it into a joke. He lightens the moment again. This cycle repeats itself over and over. Teasing turns into laughter. Laughter turns into comfort. Comfort turns into quiet closeness. And through it all, Jungkook often guides the emotional flow more than people expect. Age, in this case, becomes just a number. What truly defines their relationship isn't hierarchy, it's responsiveness, comfort, familiarity, a quiet understanding that doesn't need to be explained out loud. Jungkook pampering Jimin doesn't contradict the fact that Jimin is older. It highlights how fluid and balanced their bond really is. Jimin doesn't lose his strength or maturity by allowing himself to be teased or cared for. If anything, it shows how secure he feels. He doesn't have to perform a role around Jungkook. He doesn't have to be the responsible Hyung all the time. He can relax, joke, complain, and even act a little spoiled, because he trusts Jungkook to meet him there. And Jungkook, despite being younger, shows an emotional awareness that goes far beyond age. He knows when to joke and when to stop. He knows when Jimin needs laughter and when he needs quiet support. His teasing isn't careless. It's intentional, affectionate, and rooted in knowing Jimin deeply. That's why so many fans are drawn to their dynamic. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel staged. It feels lived in. Like something that developed naturally over years of standing side by side, learning each other's habits, moods, and unspoken signals. The teasing, the pampering, the small gestures, all of it comes from that shared history. And maybe that's the most important thing to remember. Relationships don't have to follow expected rules to be real. They don't have to fit cultural assumptions or traditional roles. Sometimes the younger one takes care of the older one. Sometimes the older one enjoys being spoiled. And sometimes both can be true at the same time. Jimin and Jungkook show us that connection is about balance, not hierarchy. About presence, not position. And the more you watch them, the more those quiet, understated moments begin to speak louder than any label ever could. If you've noticed moments where Jungkook pampers Jimin, or times when his teasing clearly comes from affection, share them in the comments. If there's a specific interaction that changed how you see their dynamic, talk about it. And if you want more deep dives into their relationship, their unspoken moments, and the details fans often miss, make sure to stay tuned. Because this story isn't finished yet. There's always another moment waiting to be noticed.